So, after our talk about The Raven, we got a little bit into The Fall of the House of Usher, which made us curious. So we went ahead and punched up the movie, 1960. Vincent Price, produced and directed by Roger Corman.
Another one. Jesus, Mother Mary.
He did a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
There was A Pit and the Pendulum. There was
Nice.
The Telltale Heart. There's a whole bunch of them that he did. And there was The Raven that was done back then, too. That was a full adaptation of the poem into a story film, but which we haven't seen. But what did you think of The Fall of the House of Usher? It was a trip.
Well, I always talk about the place where I live and the property, and my family is, Fall of the House of Usher, and pretty much holds up true. I liked it. It was a nice macabre story. I think if we're going to look at it, sister just had hysteria, and when her man came, she was cock-blocked by her brother with some excuse of, the madness and, the evil of the family, which I'd be kind of proud of a lineage like that. I mean, I had a bootlegger and wrangler of women of the evening in my family, so I don't have a problem with that.
That explains a few things.
Love it. Anyway, but I liked the movie, and of course it had to do that Roger Corman sci-fi trippy psychedelic
the dream sequence.
Yes.
In the blue lighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wish he had continued that more throughout his career with his other stuff, like the Dunwich Horror that we've already seen. But
it had some Corman-esque photography in it. I mean, some of the double exposed, shots of like scenery and total Corman.
But I like his earlier stuff better.
Yeah, it's funny that he did these things early in his career and went on to do such, dogs at times,
So I think more and more...
I saw a thing about Corman, though, that was... So, yeah, I saw this thing about Roger Corman once, that one of the things that he did in his career was a whole lot of just things on shoestring budget. He would see a film and he would go, I could make that movie for a tenth of what they spent on it, because he saw the big budget Hollywood things coming out, and he didn't have the resources to do that kind of big budget type blockbuster, so he would make it for...
$50.
Yeah, $500. And
a nice cheese sandwich or something,
And a lot of the stuff he did was direct copies of mainstream movies that he just wanted to do just to prove he could or something. I don't know. Anyway, Corman, very, very...
eclectic film. And I'm going to say it. He reminds me more of Ed Wood all the time.
Yeah, except that, I don't know.
I don't know if he had a Angora fetish.
Right, he wasn't, one of those, and I don't think that he,
one of those,
necessarily, one of those. He
one of those.
A cross-dresser like Ed Wood was.
Who do you mean, you people? No.
And all the kind of freaks that he would truck with, too,
right?
I'm sure Corman had a pretty colorful sphere of influence.
Ensemble, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the movie. No, it was, I think it was a pretty fairly well adapted, not so loosely adapted as some of the other things that have been made out of Poe's stories. And, I know the reputation that Fall of the House of Usher has in his body of work is one of the ones that, is one of his best stories, or generally considered. And it was just kind of fun to go revisit it.
Oh, you've seen it before?
Oh, and to revisit the whole story, because I've even read it.
Nice.
I've read some Poe in my day. Yeah, I used to have a book of Poe stories that I went through and read most of them. So I've read The Telltale Heart. I've read the I don't know if I read The Cask of Amontillado, but I know I've read The Telltale Heart, and I've read The Raven, and I've read Usher, and I don't know if I ever read The Pit and the Pendulum.
I have. I think I like the movie better than the story.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe because it was fleshed out a little more. Maybe it gave a different kind of aspect.
Well, it was a fleshed out version of a short story.
Yeah.
So it went into more detail. It was more in depth, yes. And but no, really, another one. If you haven't seen, put it on your list. The original Fall of the House of Usher, Vincent Price, 1960. It's visually really well done. The camera work is good. It's not your typical Corman at all.
No, it's not hokey or,
No, and he produced and directed it. He didn't direct a whole lot of the films that he produced over the years. He was just the guy in charge,
Getting the money.
And so not all of his films were directed by him, but this one was. So
Recommend. Like, share, and subscribe.